I greet you in the name of our Father, Mother God, the light energy that supports all life in creation, which includes you and me. I would like you to use your discernment to ask your heart. If it doesn't resonate with the words that you're going to listen to, please, I ask you to leave them. If it resonates with your heart, I ask you to use it to jumpstart the truth within your heart or your kingdom as a sovereign God. I was speaking with one of my relatives, and with a view to repeat some of these topics that I had taught in our local language, Luganda, in our local community, so that they can help the Western world and our fellow brothers and sisters who understand English. This topic is about the spirituality from the atomic structure of elements. One day, I was speaking with one of our sisters, and we discovered that most of the elites, they are too much confused in the way they see spirituality and science. Hence, I decided to communicate with my high self, and we came up with this topic uh, the next day so that it could help most of the elites. Because if you look in this matrix, most of the people who are more educated have been duped much in this matrix, in that it's not that easy to over slide or um, to fight against the eagerness that is put in the mind of the God because of the level of education that is attained. Because you have to know, and you have to understand that all the education system that they have been teaching us was designed by the dark entities. Hence, they put more dark matrix within our minds. Hence, the ego, in most cases, becomes even more stronger to um, most of the elites that have attained a lot of, let's say, the education in this dark matrix. Anyway, I want to show you how spirituality starts from the atom, as atom is the basic unit of matter, as it's known by the elite community. But now, before the atom, or um, before everything starts, it starts with light. As you see in the symbol of the video of the picture that I'm going to use for this video, all creation starts from light. Light, that is love light. That is Father, Mother, God. Now, with that, they produce the twins who start up the beginning of the creation, of all creation, from parents, and then they produce the twin structure, or what we call the twins in creation. Now, in the atomic basic, you start with what we call the proton. Proton is proton is positively charged. This one is a representation of, it's not it's actually not the representation, but the actual kingdom of what we call the sky god. The sky god, most of the Western region, most of the uh, Western culture, they call him as Jupiter, Jehovah, Thor, and now in our local language we call him Ndaula. In an atom is represented by the proton, which is positive. Remember, each god, now here I'm trying to describe what we call the hero hymns. The first two are the parents, and then 7 make up the hero hymns of all creation. They are found in all planets. You get me? Now, in every tribe, let's say on Mother Earth, because Mother Earth is a prototype of all planets or all clans. Now, each clan has to have all this type of creation pattern. That is the 9 divine number. First, we started with the parents, father, mother, in light, and then they produced the twins in creation. That is protons, protons, of which in our local language or in our my local community of which I've incarnated in, we call him Ndaula, and then in the Western culture, you've been calling him Jupiter, Jehovah, or Thor, the god of sky. Then his twin brother is called the Christ God. Christ God is represented in an atom as neuron. Neuron has no charge. Neuron has no charge. Neutron, I mean. Neutron, yeah. Neutron has no charge. And then in our local language as Baganda, we call him Blam. Now, every tribe, you have to know that in every tribe they are there, but the pronunciation changes, but the roles are the same. Now, to figure out what type of a god or a name of a specific hero hymn, you just find out the role. That goes also to the archangels. In case you find an archangel from a different tribe being pronounced in a different name, but having a role that you know in your tribe that you have, that is there, then they are the same. They don't change roles. The roles are the same, but the pronunciation of the names change according to the tribes. Now we are done with the 4. So now we are finished with our first with the twins. That is in from the atom. That is the proton, which is positively charged, and then neutron, which has no charge. From it, we have what we call the nucleus. The nucleus is the representation of the frame god. Frame god. In our local language, we call him Lubanga. Then in the Western region, they call him uh, Janus. Janus. Then also you can find in your own language who is the frame god, who works on transition, who works on the gates, timing, and duality, is the head of all that, and also is the head of all souls. In framing, I mean framing souls, and in the framing of all creation is the one in charge of that department. So in the atom is represented by what we call the nucleus. So that is the frame god. Now we are done with uh with with now five hero hymns. Let's say the two parents and then this one is the third one. Okay, this is the third him, apart from the parents, because now we are looking all creation divinely saturates on 9 positions. Now we are going on the fourth one. Fourth one, the fourth one is a in the atom is represented by what we call the electron. Electron starts with a negative charge. Electron starts with a negative charge. Now, this God is in charge of wisdom, civilization, and education. So, but the reason why it starts with a negative charge, or is any, let's say, a baby, or anything that is that is created starts from a zero knowledge, and then it grows, it corrects experiences. Now that's the reason why it starts from negative charge. You understand? So in our local language, it starts with in a position of one nema, of which it shows, let's say, something that is negatively charged, and then chitinda, something that bridges to a new creation. Chitinda in the Western language, in the Western culture, is known as Minerva. Minerva. Now, those are the four hymns. Those are the four hymns so far covered. Now, making up what we call the atom. Now, the word atom means unseparatable. The atom means unseparatable. So that means that it's simple. It is very simple. You've been hearing high masters and archangels telling us that we are all one. If you believe as an elite that all creation is made up of atoms, and you've seen that the spirituality kingdom, the major kingdoms of the spiritual world, they are within the atom. Now, how can you say that we are separate from what makes of all creation? You understand? So the four area hymns, yeah, we started with that in the atom. We started with proton, which is positively charged, and its color is blue. Then Christ God, who has no charge, which is an electron. Then enclosed by a nucleus, who is the flame God, and then outside it is what we call the electron, which is negatively charged. So that makes the unseparable elements of all creation. Now from there, they produce three. I mean, I think four elements. Four elements. The first element, um, it matters the number of atoms that are being that are being joined together to make up one element. Now let's start with the air element. The air element um, is led by what we call the god of the air. In the Greek, civilization was called Ether. Then for us as Baganda, we call him Musoke. So you can also find out who is in charge of hair element in your tribe. Remember, they have the rows, same rows all over. They are the same, but the difference is just the pronunciation of the words. Now, from there we go to the fire element. Fire element um, is the one in charge of course, fire. And then among us, the Baganda, we call this god of fire. We call this god of fire Chwanuka. Then is the same as La, is the same as Horus, is the same as Volcanic among the Romans, is the same as Hephaestus among the Greek. Now, every tribe, of course, has a different way of pronouncing him. Then the last hero hymn to make the seven is the water god, who makes up the water element. You understand? Now, that god among the Western culture is known as Saint Germain. Saint Germain. In our local language, we call him Mukasa. Then in the ancient Roman, they call him Neptune. So every tribe also has a way of calling him. Not even only tribe, but every planet, they all have these elements. They all have these elements. You understand? So that sums up the seven hero hymns, then plus the two which make up, plus the parents which make up the 9 divine position of creation. Now, those 9 divine positions of creations are represented on our body by the 9 holes that we have. 9 holes that we have. We have 2 eyes. We have 2 um, 2 opens of the nostrils, which is those are 4 holes. Then the ears, 2, which is 6. The mouth, 7. The back hole for the waist, and then the reproductive hole to make up the 9 divine positions, which are also represented on our body as humans here at the present, or in our making as we are here. So briefly, that's what I wanted to show the Western culture, that everything is the same. Now, when you combine the 4, I mean, we have forgotten. I had forgotten the what we call the soil element, but that soil element is a duplica of the Christ element. Yeah, it's just a duplica of the Christ element, because at the start, when a proton is positive, it is in space. Then now his twin brother gets to the ground, and it turns to be as the king of the ground. Now is the one who makes up the soil element. That's the Christ God. You understand? Who has no charge. Then his twin brother, whom we call Ondaula in our place, and then in Western, Thor, Jova. Then he takes up the opposite side of creation to make up the 4 elements. You understand? Um, so I hope I have tried to throw some light, uh, mostly on the elites, so that they can really solve most of the questions that they have in their brains about how things are. We are all one. All creation is connected, because even what you believe as the basic unit of matter has the spiritual gods. That's where you see. That's the reason why even when you see the Christ color or the proton color, it's a golden, it's a golden color. And when we make the practices of restoring Christ consciousness within humanity, you see that we visualize using the golden color. You understand? So I've tried to bring out um, this topic so that it helps you to allay or to reduce some of the doubts that you have about what you have been taught from your childhood, or from all the numbers of incarnations that you have been encountering on this planet or in different planets. So it's up to you to use your discernment and pick out only the truth that can help you resonate with the truth within your own being as a sovereign God. All right. Let me hope you pick up something out of it. The God in me greets the God in you. I'm sorry in case I've not spoken well. I told you from the from morning that um, um, I'm not very good in English, but I hope you've got something that would help you make more research on how truly creation is from an easy perspective, using our education level of understanding. All right. I greet you and I send you my light and love.